Hello, and welcome to the Vacay Podcast. I'm Ryan Alford, your co-host. My co-host and good friend Chris Hansen down in the Vacay Lounge, as we like to call it, in Miami. A little rainstorm today. We're excited. We talk the gamut of wellness, coaching, fitness, and, guilty pleasure sometimes, even if it's been a rare guilty pleasure for me these days. But we're pumped to have PGA Golf Professional, entrepreneur, and co-founder of Me and My Golf, Andy Proudman. What's up, Andy?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to talk about multiple things. Yeah, I'm excited to be on here.
Yeah, Andy hit my radar on social media. I'm not into as much golf anymore, but it catches my eye. It's still in my algorithm, let's say, because it'll be in my explore page or whatever on Instagram. And Andy's active on social media and Instagram, and I'm sure other channels, which we'll talk about, but doing some fun and unique things on social. But wanted to have him on and talk a little bit about his background, his approaches, and Me and My Golf. And Andy, maybe we just set the table with giving the audience, we obviously, I'm sure with any guest, we could always talk 2 hours about someone's background and everything else, but we'll let you give the at least the Cliff Notes version of who is Andy Proudman.
Well, that is a big question. So I think we'll start really. I mean, golf has been a passion of mine since I was like 13. I'm now 42 years old, and it's just something that I did sports all my life: football, tennis, table tennis, everything you can think of. And then I got to like 13 and found golf, and it just totally grabbed me. I got the bug and just went all in. As soon as I get into something, I'm all in. So I did that for a while and wanted to sort of. I actually got early into coaching, so I had a mentor, a coach that really helped me with my golf. And at a very early age, probably around 15, 16, I was like, wow, this guy who's coaching me is having such a profound impact on me as a golfer and a person. I'd love to be able to do that for somebody else at some point. So that was like an ignition for me to go, right, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to be able to coach and do what this coach is doing for me in their lives. So I turned professional around about when I was probably 19 years old, with a view to, going into the coaching route. Set up an academy with my best friend in 2006, after sort of working in the golf industry for a long time. Ran a golfing academy for 6 years, where we were coaching individuals for six days a week, one-to-one. And then sort of thought to ourselves, well, this is great, but this isn't it. Like, we want to impact more people, and we also want to grow a great business that we can make more money while we sleep. And things were out there that we wanted to sort of do that was bigger, really. So we actually quit that academy and then went traveling around the world for 3.5 months with no plan of what we were going to do. We'd already sort of got into some YouTube stuff. This was back in 2011. And we didn't have an idea of what we were going to do, but this YouTube thing was floating around. So we traveled literally all the way around the world, having some time out, seeing some different coaches, learning off some different people. And then we got back to the UK in July 2012. And we were like, right, this is the future. YouTube, social media, this is what we're going to do. We're going to commit to this for the next however long. We're just going to commit to putting out some value out into the world and see what we get back. This is when nobody really was doing it to any certain level. So we just made that commitment. This is what we're going to do. We had no money. We didn't have any income coming in, but we made that commitment to this is what we're going to do. And then fast forward to now, we've got just around 2 million followers on social media. We've got a membership platform that's helping golfers all over the world. And we never saw that coming until we sort of got into it. And that led me on a whole path of, yes, coaching golfers, but at the same time, needed to develop the skills in order to run a successful business. Being a golf coach and having the knowledge how to help somebody with their game is very different to building a multi-7-figure business. So that sparked on a whole journey of self-discovery and personal growth in order for me to go, right, how do I build something great here that's going to allow me to create more impact, but also create the life that I want? And that's led me to now where we've got a whole team of people back in the UK, and me and my business partner, Pierce, are out here building the brand and doing our coaching and, a whole world of other things as well.
I love it. And I think, Andy, what really attracted me to what you're doing was obviously the golf aspect and the interest there. But I think the wellness aspect, because of the mental side, the full experience of the coaching that you're doing, and a lot of what you just said, the impact that positive coaches can have and the influence really impressed me with what you've done, and that meaning so much to you and how you're translating that to your students and clients and things like that. Maybe talk a little bit about, we'll talk about the golf stuff, but, the full wellness experience and, how you guys maybe built that curriculum or what that looks like.
I mean, I suppose from the wellness experience, it's more of a from the golf side of things. Myself and Pierce very early on did some NLP training, and that was the spark of the whole wellness from I suppose more so from the mental side. I've always been interested in fitness from probably the 18 years old, and as I've got older, I think I've got fitter. And I've got more and more into it because I've really started to learn and understand a lot of the details behind everything, really, whether it's from a psychological standpoint or whether it's from a nutrition or a training side of things. So the whole wellness side of things for me is just something that is embodied in the golf, because you need to have a certain understanding of the physical capabilities that you can do as a golfer. But you also need to understand how human beings think. You need to be able to watch people and understand some of the patterns that they do, their psychology, their self-talk, their reactions, their management of their state, their emotions. So golf is a very good parallel to life. So I think the exploration in the golf led me to an exploration in my own life to go, well, look, how can I grow myself from a health and fitness standpoint? And my health and fitness goals are very, very different to what they used to be. But also, how can I grow myself from a mindset and emotional standpoint, which has really just pushed me down a deeper and deeper path. Like, I'm obsessed with getting better. I'm obsessed with creating good routines and habits. I'm obsessed with learning every single day. I'm obsessed with my energy levels. All these things for me are so important, and I'm very conscious of like, I'm very aware of me now. Like, I know what works for me. I know how much sleep I need to get. I know how much food and what types of food I need to eat because of that self-discovery of going down that route, really. So it's been a constant sort of journey, but it's been a introduction, tasted a little bit more, and just snowballed into, wow, this is now just a real big passion, and they're all linked together. My health and energy are all linked to my business and the impact I can have and my relationships and everything else, really.
And you mentioned NLP. For everybody listening, that's neuro-linguistic programming. Can you talk? I mean, did that have much of an impact? What did you learn there? I mean, is there like some specific takeaways you had there? Because I'm pretty familiar with that. It's really interesting. A training. Is there anything you can delve into there?
Yeah, I think with the NLP stuff was the first insight into understanding that we are in control, really. I think it was an awakening for me to go, up until that point, I was being run by my patterns, not understanding that I can actually control some of the things that I'm doing. I can change my state just by changing my physiology or changing my self-talk or changing the images in my mind. So I think the biggest takeaway from that for me was, instead of letting the patterns run your life, it was actually taking the control to go, right, I'm in control of my life. If I want to change my state, if I want to change how I feel, especially on the golf course, then I can do it by taking control of my physiology, maybe anchoring a certain thing or having certain mental triggers that can do that for me. So I think the big thing for me there was just the awakening of going, right, I'm not being led by my patterns. I am creating the patterns that I want to lead me in the direction that I want to go.
Yeah, it's really powerful stuff. And I think it falls in line with a lot of stuff. Chris and I talk to a lot of people, like we dance around a lot of the same subject matter, even when talking with people from all different like avenues, you know, whether it's golf or wellness or healing or breathing. It's like, but it still comes back to like this centered thing of like, we can all take control. You know, we're all putting one foot in front of the other, but we're also at a deeper level controlling both the inputs and the outputs. And I think that's kind of the enlightening thing for people. We're sort of conditioned with everything else around us that we are to accept what we're given, and or like things happen to us instead of us making things happen for us. If I'm summarizing.
Yeah, totally right. And I'm very conscious about the inputs in my life. Like I don't, since I moved to California, it was a conscious effort. I'm like, I'm not even going to get a TV. I'm not even going to get a TV in here, because it was like I want to control the inputs. It's so easy to just fall down a trap of just watching mindless things for no reason. So I think I'm just very conscious of what I watch, what I read, who I listen to, because we don't know the impact of all the things that are going in and how that shapes our belief systems and that shapes our actions and all the rest of it, really. So it's a huge point.
What do people, Chris, I'm, was like, had all these questions very pre-baked for Andy. So jump in here at any time. But I got one more and I'll let Chris, ask some thoughts here. But talk a little bit about me and my golf. Like what at its core, I think we get, golf coaching or whatever, but maybe let's just delve into exactly what it is and what it isn't.
So me and my golf, we created it really for the one simple thing was that obviously to just get golfers better. Our purpose at me and my golf is to change lives through golf. Because if you're a golfer, it means a lot to you. If you're a regular golfer, Ryan, you played for a little bit. When you're in that mode of playing, it means a lot. If you have a bad day in the golf course, you're going home and you're, it often impacts the rest of your day. So for us, we wanted to create Me and My Golf because we felt we did a great job of understanding human beings. But we just knew that so many golfers out there were doing it wrong, the wrong thoughts, the wrong concepts, didn't understand what they were doing, the wrong psychology, didn't really understand the movement of their body. So what we wanted to do was create one place that basically anything to do with improving golf performance, you can go there and you can have access to some of the best content and information out there. So whether you want to look at psychology and how to improve your mental game, or whether you want to understand your body, whether you want to understand technique or your golf equipment, everything that's impacted in there impacts performance, we have that, but also doing it in a very, very simple way. Most golfers who come to me for coaching, they make it so hard. They're thinking far too many complicated things. So our method of coaching is to understand all the science that's involved. We understand a lot more about the golf swing and science and data and the ball flight and things like that. But our job as coaches is to teach Steve, who's on the lesson tee, in the most simple way to get him the biggest result. And that doesn't mean that we need to go into the science. It means we need to relay the things to him in a certain way that he understands it and he can apply it straight away. So I think our philosophy is really is make it simple. With all the knowledge and the information that's about, how do we get that person better in the least amount of words in the most simple way? But we look at it from a holistic point of view. when we take somebody on the golf course, because a lot of golf lessons are done on the driving range, but we take a lot of people on the golf course, and you see the person on the golf course. You only see the golf swing on the driving range. So most people are obsessed with technique, but when you go on the golf course, you see how they react to a bad shot. You see what they do on the next shot as a result of that. You see how they manage their state, their body language, their self-talk. There's so many things that I'm looking for out there, their course management, their strategy, like the human side of things, which often it doesn't get seen. And most golfers are searching the internet for, how do I fix my backswing? So our philosophy is really, we coach the player, not just the golf swing.
I love that. So we're all about value here on the show. Just what cuts the handicap the most? What's like for the high handicapper, other than obviously getting into the mental stuff is big, but sometimes, like what is it? Is it what's like the one thing you probably cure the most that like cuts 5 or 6 strokes?
It's iron play. It is definitely iron play.
Yeah.
If you can hit your iron solid and just get it close to the green. I mean, it's a mixture of things. It depends on the person, because you can have a shocking short game, you can have a terrible short game, but iron play is crucial. If you want to reduce some shots, if you can strike the golf ball solid, it makes a huge difference. And most golfers, that's their biggest pain point or problem. They struggle with consistent ball striking. The amount of golfers who come to us for a lesson and we go, what do you want? I just want to be more consistent with my irons. And what they're talking about is making sure they get ball followed by the turf instead of turf followed by the ball, which is the worst combination.
My putting just always was average or worse. I just, that was always my Achilles. Like I could get around the green, like you said, more often than not. Man, I 3-putted a lot.
And that's a killer. That's a killer. And that's another big part. It's another big part of the game that most golfers struggle with, especially the high handicappers. 3-putts is definitely.
Well, that was the difference for me, probably being a scratch golfer, honestly. When I was playing every week, I probably drove it well enough and struck the ball well enough to be a 1 or 0. But God, my putting was just always sub-average for the level. I could hit a mile and then wedge to 10 feet and make par or bogey sometimes. Not a ton of bogeys, but a lot of just not a lot of birdies. Not enough birdies. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
I'm getting back to my mile golf thing now.
Yeah, Ryan, it's no problem.
Chris, any thoughts or questions for Andy?
Yeah, I'm wondering when our golf trip's going to be. Where are we going?
I know. We're going to have to go to San Diego maybe. I don't know.
Sounds like a business trip we've got to make. Bummer. No, I love this, Andy. I love everything you're preaching. I've realized golf for me, if anything, has been more mental exercise than physical. Do you find, I would assume working with clients, how much of it is mindset and just change that and talk? I know I'm guilty. Golf is one of the places I caught myself the most of negative self-talk, because I don't think there's anything else I do for 4 hours straight in a day where I have that many mini challenges where I'm like, damn it, like you suck, or whatever. I'm notorious for that. Like hitting a bad shot and you're like, fuck, you suck. But even paying attention to that, where it's like, that alone is working against me. How many guys or girls do you work with where the biggest hurdle is the mental, the mental self-talk, or just learned behaviors, learned patterns, like, oh, I've always sucked at golf, I've never been good at this?
I think all of them. I think every single person who I would coach, including myself, need that training. And I think one of the biggest things that holds people back, and maybe this is just this one might hit home for you as well, Chris, is just the reason that we get pissed off on the golf course is only when our expectations aren't met. But most golfers have the wrong expectations. So when you hit a bad drive and you're like, shit, that was terrible. But let's say you're a 18 handicap. It's like, well, what do you expect? Like, what are your expectations for your level of play? And that's not like a disrespectful thing. It's like most golfers, our expectations are set like a 4 handicap when they're a 20 handicap, because what they see on TV is the best. Yeah. And they go, well, I should be doing that. And it makes me laugh sometimes that you'll see a golfer, he'll turn up to the first tee, no warm-up, rush out his car, hit a bad shot, and then he'll be pissed off that he's hit a bad shot. And he's like, he's had 0 warm-up, no preparation, but his expectations are he should hit the drive down the middle of the fairway. So there's just a misalignment there. And that's the biggest reason. If you're getting angry on the golf course, one of the biggest reasons is expectations. But where those expectations come from, there's layers to that as well, from parenting and a few other things that influence that from childhood. I know that's I used to be like that a lot. But once you're aware of that, self-awareness is the biggest thing. Once you're aware of something, you can go, oh, okay, well, I can change that now. Now I can change that pattern that I do and not be so hard on myself. But yeah, I mean, everybody needs that mental training. And it's the same in life, isn't it? You know, if our expectations aren't met in life, then we get pissed off. And that's why it's so parallel to golf and life. They're great character building, because it's a metaphor for life, really.
It is. Is there any sport, it's so funny, like, that has the disconnect as much as golf with what you expect's going to happen and like how mad you get than golf? Like, because like if you go, if I went and, I mean, I play basketball a lot with my kids, so let me not use that. Oh, if I went and played baseball, like with just guys that play every weekend, I kind of know it's not going to go great. You know, like, I mean, I'm competitive, so I'll be like, come on, Ryan, you know, you could do better, but, you know, I'm not that good. I know I'm not that good. I don't play. But in golf, baby, man, and we see professional baseball players hit the ball out of the park all the time, but golf, we get out there, you know, and I don't do that shit anymore. I think one thing I figured out, probably why I got halfway good, is I got that out of my game. But like a lot of people, man, that disconnect. Why is golf such a disconnect versus so many other things?
You're right. Everyone with golf just like assumes they could play at almost a pro level if you barely ever played. But with basketball or baseball, no one's like, yo, I'm almost as good as the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, you know, massive disconnect of,
you know, one of the reasons as well. Andy. One of the reasons as well is because we have a par. We have a score that we need to get, that we think we need to get. So you're on a par 4 and you think you should be getting a par 4. But if you're an 18 handicap, it's like, so we're measured to par, and that's the thing. If we didn't have that measured to par, it would be very, very different. So I think we just compare ourselves to that baseline of what is the norm, really.
It's going to be, it's funny you bring that up, Andy. I've never heard it framed that way, but that is really smart and it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I think you'd know this better than me. This will build to a question, an opinion, and then a question. But I feel like we're on the precipice of finally pushing the game into, it's not just 18 holes and it's not just these pars are the score. I feel like we're on the precipice of different ways with which golf can be played and how it's played. I mean, the live golf versus PGA golf is starting to dance around that. And some of the 3-man tournaments and 2-man tournaments, you're seeing some of the, I feel like we're on the precipice of different games within the game. Does it feel that way?
I think so. I mean, golf has changed for me. How I play the game now is very, very different. So I can't remember the last time I went out and scored 18 holes. I haven't done that for years. So, but golf for me is fun. I love the game, but I also love playing 9 holes. Yeah. 9 holes, fun match, no score. Like, I don't care about, I say I don't care about the score. I care about the result at the end, if I've won the match or not. But I'm not going out there going, right, I want to score my best today. I want to shoot 69 or whatever it might be. So golf for me now is, the best golf for me is when I go out with 3 other guys, we have a 2-on-2 match, and it's just fun. Like, there's a bit of competitiveness there. Obviously I want to play well. If I hit a bad shot, doesn't matter. So it's not as intense and it's not as pressured, but golf has changed a lot in my life from when I used to compete at a younger age, and I'd be in a tournament and I want to shoot the best score. It was high pressure. Now it's like, I love the game, and it's just very different for me now. Couldn't really care less about the score. I just care about the results at the end, and it's just about having fun. And I don't let it get to me anymore, because my expectations have gone from where they were here. My expectations are actually in check. So I know before I go out, and I'll say, like, I'm hitting some terrible shots today. Like, I know that's going to happen. So why get annoyed when you know it's going to happen? But I'm hitting some great shots as well. So I'm balanced in where I need to be. So therefore, I can manage my state and my emotions in a much better place, because I'm in check.
Do you have to, being a PGA professional? I don't know if you still carry a card or whatever. Do you have to play and shoot a certain score every year still, or like, are you carrying that level? I guess
no.
Maybe that's just like
we did at the start.
Yeah.
At the start of it, to get into it, you needed to go and do a playing ability test and things like that. But now, once you're a pro, you're a pro. It doesn't mean that you can still. I mean, I'm still a decent player. I can go there and still shoot under par, and I love the game. But you don't need to maintain a certain level of playing, really.
Okay, I remember that. I don't know if it was that like to be a pro at a course, or like, I feel like there was still something at like golf course pros. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's old school shit they used to talk about. Yeah, I got to go play and shoot something. I wouldn't think once you got your card, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's it.
What's been your approach? You hit my radar because of the social media videos and things like that. I mean, where does that style come from? I mean, how would you describe your style on social media? And like, where did those approaches, and where have you seen the most growth?
From the Me and My Golf standpoint?
Yeah, just seeing your stuff on social media, your videos and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's we've been doing this now for probably 10 years. So it's been it's just been a constant learning process, from just a lot of evaluation. So again, the most important thing that we always want to deliver when it comes to social media is like, how are we going to actually help somebody here? How is this piece of content really going to help somebody? If it doesn't start at that point, then it's not really worth doing. So it has to have one of our values, which is deliver massive value. That has to be the nucleus of the thing. And then it's like, well, okay, how do we capture their attention? What's the first thing that we can say when it comes to the video? What's a practical thing that we can give them to take away? How can we help educate them in the way that we want to as well? So everything's wrapped up in delivering the value, making sure we can capture their attention. How can we give them something practical? And how can we educate the people as well to make sure that they're knowledgeable? And it's all tied into our philosophy, really. And as you know, social media is just constantly changing. The platforms are changing, the algorithms are changing all the time. So it's just keeping up with the different trends and understanding what's working and what's not working. And we've got a team of 12. There's 12 of us at Me and My Golf. So we've got a lot of different people in different departments who we meet with on a weekly basis to understand the numbers and make changes and look at ways to improve, really.
How much of yours is like online coaching versus in person?
I do a 1 day a week in person, and then the rest is all the online stuff. I also coach a guy on the PGA Tour, so I do a little bit of traveling with him throughout the year as well.
Is that a name you can share? Or
yeah. So his name's Aaron Rye.
Yeah,
and I've coached him. Me and my business partner have coached him since he was 11 years old. So we've coached him from a junior all the way up to where he is now on the PGA Tour, which is I think I think he's about 70th in the world at the moment. So he's done pretty solid. Good season last year.
Where the hell? I mean, guy, I could talk to your ear off on just the golf stuff, but where the hell is all this stuff going with the PGA Tour? I mean, is that like you get involved with any of that, or you just stay out of it?
You know what? It's I've just come back from Hawaii. I had a week vacation in Hawaii, and I didn't look at any social media. And then I got back and I turned social media on, and I saw John Rahm shaking Greg Norman's hand.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
Like, what the hell has happened in a week? And I was like, yeah, I stay out of it really. You know, I can't change any of that stuff. So somebody will tell me what's going on, but I don't want to. Again, it's controlling the inputs, as you said earlier. I'm like, how is this going to benefit my life? And if it's something that I can contribute or control or change, then I'd want to know. But it's like somebody will tell me what I need to know. So I just stay away from that really.
Are you still involved? I know we had on our show notes the Live Like a Legend podcast. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I actually had a little bit of a break from it, but I started back up last week. That's more of my personal podcast where I'm sharing a lot of the growth, a lot of the mindset things on business and health, and just, again, my passion for getting better, really. So a lot of that's more of a personal journey of sharing some of the stories and things that I'm learning along the way, as well as getting some other guests on there that are doing some great things that I feel can offer some value in certain things, really. So I love doing that to share things, but I also love doing that for me. I love doing it for me because it's like therapy. Like me chatting to doing a podcast, even on my own, it's like I'm teaching myself things that I've already done. I'm just I'm deepening my learning on the things that I know. So I love it for those two reasons. It challenges me to always keep moving forward, but I love sharing stuff with the rest of the world as well.
No, you're right, man. I mean, it's just the discipline of doing it, and then there's something about it. I'm so ADD, but I get, I put my headphones on and having conversation. I love the conversation and the learning. I learn more on the show with guys like you and like being focused in on it, because we're so distracted with like back to, some of the other things. But when you're in this moment, there's something powerful about it. So everybody go check that out. The Live Like a Legend podcast. Any final thoughts here, Chris, or questions before we give Andy back the rest of his day here, his morning over there on the West Coast?
I just thank you for joining us, Andy. Everything you said, I think golf is an awesome game. I mean, I encourage people to get out there. I think like you, there's so many parallels to life. And even when I was younger, I had a mentor. He always pushed me, like, you got to be able to play a decent game of golf just as a business guy. At least just go out and don't embarrass yourself. And it's true. I know a lot of guys that do a lot of business deals playing golf because you can get a good read on, is this guy honest? How's he handle himself under pressure? Is he cheating? It's just such a fucking awesome game, dude. And honestly, you just relit my ass we got rain the next 4 days, so it's not going to happen, but I can roll out my putting green and get some practice putts on.
I think we got to go, Chris. When you're up here, we'll go. We got to get some content on the golf course, And
you guys probably have some beautiful golf courses. Oh yeah, some nice rolling hills.
Oh yes. Carolina's got it.
And then we'll go hit the Trump Doral course when you come down.
I played Trump Doral about 3-4 weeks ago.
How was it? I heard it's amazing. I've never played it.
It was good. It was actually right after the live event, like a few days after the live event. All the stands were still up. We actually got challenged to play in a couple of guys challenged us. They're like, we want to challenge you to a 10K match. And we filmed it to go on YouTube. That's going to go live in January. It was just a brilliant match. Awesome. Really, really good match. So yeah, worth checking out. Early Jan, that's going to go live. It was great.
We'll have to get Andy here. There'll be some joint content. We can get all kinds of stuff. Yeah. We'll get Andy in the Carolinas and kick our ass and show us around the course. Andy, we really appreciate you coming on, man. And
pleasure.
All the continued success. And look forward to watching your journey, and let's stay in touch.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.
Hey guys, you want to find us, the vacaypodcast.com. That's VAYCAY, the only way to spell vacay. Search for Andy Proudman. You'll find all of the highlight clips in the full episode today and the show notes. You'll find links to his app, his podcast, and everything he's got going on. For Chris Hansen, down in the Miami Vacay Lounge, this is Ryan Alford. We'll see you next time on the Vacay Podcast.